Hello and welcome back. How have you been since I last saw you for your cranial nerve exam? Yes, I recall that you had some aphasia issues, some memory issues primarily. Yeah, how have those been? Okay, so no change in symptoms. Alright. And let me just jot that down. Okay. Well, today we are doing the whole rigmarole. We're going to do the full cognitive examination. So, to start, I have some very easy questions for you. Could you please just confirm your name and date of birth? Okay. And there we are. Okay. And is that the name you like to go by? Have any nickname or anything you'd prefer? Okay, that's what I have in here. Just thought I'd double check. Okay. So we are oriented to person. Now a few more questions. What was your time of your appointment? Good. And where are we? The neurology office. Good. And what are we doing? Yes, the full cognitive exam. Okay, so we are oriented to time, place, person, and situation. Oriented times 4. Okay. And we've had no change in symptoms at all. So we are going to move forward with that in mind. So I have some other questions and tests for you that might not be as easy, but some of them might be. And they're going to test things like your language ability, which aphasia may impair. And it'll test some simple math skills. We have some command instructions. We have spatial relationships. A little bit of sensation testing, that sort of thing. Brain teasers and the like. Okay. Alright, so I want to start with just having you repeat a short list for me. Okay? Alright, so this is 5 words. They're all unrelated. So we have fan, wicker, blue, large, curtain. Fan, wicker, blue, large, curtain. Could you just repeat that list back to me? Good. I'm going to have you hold on to that, and I'm going to ask you about it later in the test, okay? Okay. Now, I'd like you to spell a word both forwards and backwards. Your word is spice, as in cooking spices. Oregano, rosemary, thyme, that sort of thing. Spice. Good. And backwards? Excellent. Now, we have a test called Serial Sevens. I'm going to have you take the number 100. Keep that in your head. And I'm going to have you continuously subtract the number 7 from that. So, 100 minus 7 is 93, yes. And 93 minus 7 is 86. 86 minus 7 is 79. 79 minus 7, 72. And 72 minus 7, 65. Good. Now, I'm going to ask you about a very short scenario. And I'd just like you to tell me what you would do. You order a dish at a restaurant, and you are given something you did not order. What would you do? If you ordered a dish at a restaurant, and you were given the wrong meal, what would you do? Okay. All right. See, some of these questions seem very simple and maybe kind of silly, but when we're dealing with cognitive impairment, brain damage, brain injury, you would be surprised at the kind of things that you would see from people, the kind of answers they give. That's one of those questions. Now, could you please just repeat the little list from earlier? Fan, wicker, blue, large, curtain. Excellent. So, that is, we had immediate recall. Good. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you a few commands that involve distinguishing left from right. So, if I could have you place your left hand on your right elbow and look up. Yes, very simple. Place your left hand on your right elbow and look up. So for me, that would look like that. And you had done it just fine. Now, if I could have you cross your right leg over your left leg and pat your head. Cross the right leg over the left leg and pat your head. Good. Yep, and then very good. Last one. If I could have you put your left hand on your right knee and turn your head to the left. Put your left hand on your right knee and turn your head to the left. Good. Yeah. So for me, left hand, right knee, turning head to the left. Yep. Very good. Now I'm going to give you a few tongue twisters. We'll see if you can repeat these. Okay? Alright, so your first one is Irish wristwatch. Irish wristwatch. Okay, and if you could just keep repeating that. So, Irish wristwatch, Irish wristwatch, Irish wristwatch. Yes, it might slur together a little bit. But I'm looking for anything very obvious. Good, okay. Now our next one is Sally sells seashells. Sally sells seashells. Yep, and just keep doing that. Sally sells seashells. Sally sells seashells. Sally sells seashells. Good. And the next one, sticky skeletons. Kind of a funny one, that. Sticky skeletons. Sticky skeletons. Good. And how about rolling red wagons? Rolling red wagons. Rolling red wagon. Rolling red wagon. Rolling red wagon. Good. And last one, thin sticks, thick bricks. Thin sticks, thick bricks. Thin sticks, thick bricks. Thin, thick bricks. Good. Okay. So one was nuisance. Let's go ahead. There we are. Okay. Now I'm going to ask you a few simple arithmetic questions. We're going to have an addition problem, subtraction, multiplication, and division. This is checking for something called dyscalculia in part, which sometimes one doesn't have so much of an issue with, for example, addition and subtraction to a very simple point, but maybe they can't really do multiplication or division. So if I ask you what 3 plus 6 is, 9, 8 minus 2, 6, 5 times 5, 24 divided by 2. 12. There we go. Just very basic. If we suspected an issue with math, we could go deeper into that and know what to hone in on to see if maybe there's a dyscalculia issue. Now, to test short-term and long-term memory, I'd like you to describe an event, firstly from 1 to 3 days ago. Something very recent. Mm-hmm. Okay, just let me write this down. Okay, good. And the next one is from 3 to 5 years ago. That one can be a little tricky. I'll give you just a moment to think back, if you will. 3 to 5 years ago. So it's 2026. This would be 2021 to 2023. Good. Yep. Good. Okay. Now here's another one of those judgment questions. If you saw someone drop their wallet on the sidewalk, what would you do? You saw someone walking along and they dropped their wallet on the sidewalk. What would you do? Okay, let me just... Okay. Very good. Now, I'm going to have to rearrange my clipboard for a moment because I'm going to have you do a few things here. Oh, I've got a few pages here in case we need the room. Some boxes here. Okay, so I have 3 squares in here. I'm going to ask you to draw an image in each of these small squares. I'm going to label them. I'm going to have you draw a house in this first square, a clock face with the time being 2:20, and a cube in the last square. Now, let me see here. The marker's a little heavy-handed, but my pen is a little better. So I'm going to hand this to you, and I'm just going to have you draw those in these little spaces. It doesn't have to be perfect. Good. Yep, I'm gonna have you put all the numbers there. Good. Yep, and then 220. Okay, and then the cube. Okay, let's see what we've got. Okay, so we've got a cute little house here, 2 windows, a door, and the roof. We have a clock face with all the numbers in the correct placement. We have the hour hand, the 2, and the minute hand at the 20 position. Got a little bit wobbly here, but that is most certainly a cube. Not looking for masterpieces, just making sure that these all look at least mostly correct. So, let me put this back for a moment. We will be coming back to our blank page, but I have a variety of objects here, and I would like you to just tell me what the object is. Okay, let's start right here. What is this object right here? Yes, this is a magnifying glass. Good. And how about this right here? What is this object? Paintbrush. And we've seen this before. What is this? Permanent marker, Sharpie marker. And how about this? What is this object right here? Yes, this is a pair of scissors. How about this? A little hammer, yes. Little wood hammer. And how about these? What are these? We call these flashcards, shape and number cards. Yes. And how about this? What would you call this? Good, a flashlight. And what about this? What would we call this? Yes, we could go with a book, would be just fine. They sometimes will have people that clearly know what an object is, but they're searching for the word. Searching, can't find it. Sometimes they'll find a similar word, but not quite the word they're looking for. That can be a part of the aphasia thing. And now we're going to bring back our paper here. And I'm going to write a series of numbers, and I'll just have you read them aloud. Trying to get everybody in there. There we go. If you could read this line number by number. 1, 4, 9, 2, 6, 8, 0, 7, 3, 5. Okay. Got some 2-digit numbers that are separated by commas. If you could read these. 21, 98, 46, 15, 39, 60. Excellent. Now, I'm going to give you a list of 3 objects. And if I can find my pen. There we are. I am going to have you tell me what the relationship is between the 3 objects. For example, if I say red, purple, yellow, what is the relationship connecting these 3 objects? objects or words. They are colors. Good. Up, down, over. Directions. Okay. Cloudy, sunny, rainy. Types of weather. Good. Tree, bush, flower. Plants. Cat, dog, fish. This could go a couple ways, yes. Yes, pets or animals. Good. Monday, Tuesday, Saturday. Days of the week. Good. Pencil, chalk, marker. Pencil, chalk, marker. Writing utensils, yes. Ruby, topaz, sapphire, ruby, topaz, sapphire. Gemstones. Door, window, floor. Door, window, floor. Parts of a house. Last one. Robin, crow, cardinal. Robin, crow, cardinal. Birds. Types of birds. They're also types of dinosaur. How fun. Now let's see. Okay. We are going to come back to our paper here. I am going to write some sentences. I'm going to have you read them and also write them down. So, let's see. What does this sentence say? The goldfish jumped out of the bowl. Good. This one. The horse's mane had a gold ribbon. Good. Let's see. many dogs played at the park. Good. Now, I'm going to have you write these down using my pen here. And you could go ahead and just copy those. Good. Okay. Okay, wonderful. So the writing is a little messy, but I'm not seeing any signs of any issues. For example, we may see in our dyslexic patients that maybe they do, instead of an S like this, maybe they do an S backwards or that sort of thing. Might mix some things up. And you were pretty quick about reading everything without missing any words or anything like that. We may see with aphasia where people just can't read for some reason. They have this sort of block where they see the words, but they just don't make any sort of sense. And then you have, again, our dyslexic patients, which may struggle to read these sentences. I'm going to just put this back here. We're only going to need the page for one more thing. But first, I'm going to time you. Let's see, we'll have 1 minute here. Can you tell me as many animals as you can in 1 minute? Okay? Let me tell you when to go. Let's. How about now? Okay. Little stuck? Yep. That's okay. There you go. Okay. Okay. Yep. Alright, that's there. Okay. So we had some interesting ones in there. Sometimes that can happen when we do these tests. So how many did we get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That is not bad at all. I particularly liked that you mentioned a platypus and a Pallas cat. Those are some fun ones. We don't usually hear those. your 1 to 2 touch discrimination. What that means, I'm going to take these calipers, and they are inch and a half apart-ish. Like I said, not great with measurements. A few centimeters. And I'm going to touch you with one of the tines or both. And I want you to tell me whether you feel just the one touch or the two. Okay? Actually, let's just separate these out. Just that little bit more. So then it is more like my fingers. Okay? Sometimes if you get a little too close together, it registers as one touch. So just tell me whether you feel one or two. Okay? 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2. Good. Just go ahead and bring these back together. And we only have a couple questions left. There we go. We'll tighten the rest up later. Now I am going to bring back that paper. I'm going to hand you a pair of scissors. These are the little child safety scissors. And I'd like you to cut a triangle out of the paper here. So, anywhere on this paper, if you could just cut out a triangle with the scissors. Yep, and here's those. Good. See what you got. Alright, what do we got? We got a cute little isosceles triangle there. I believe, is that a right triangle? Or is it both? Very nice. So we just took out a little dog tag there. Or dog ear, rather. Okay. Now, I have a word problem for you. And I'm going to hand you the pen because you might need to work it out a little bit, and that's okay. Alright, here's that. 7 people get on a bus. 4 people get off the bus. There were 16 people on the bus before more people got on. How many people are on on the bus now. Yep, you can work it on your hands or on the page or whatever. Yep, so 7 people got on a bus. Okay, 4 people got off the bus. There were 16 people on the bus before more people got on. How many people are on the bus now? Yeah, however you want to work that. Yep, there were 16 people originally. Okay, and 7 people got on. Okay, 23, and then 4 people got off. So, is that your final answer then? 19? Very good. 19 is correct. Let's see what we got here. So, there wasn't really, there was a little bit. The animals, you did have that little blank spot, and with our language testing, but really this is not something that you had too much of an issue with, but I know that sometimes these things come and go, and it's funny because you know you're having an issue, but of course when asked to perform, then everything goes a little more swimmingly, right? Okay, so what we're going to do here is I would like to send you to a speech therapist. And what they do is they essentially work with everything from the neck up. So if you've had a brain injury, if you've had a stroke, something like that, they can do a little evaluation in ways that's a little more comprehensive than mine if we're focusing on specific issues. And they can really tailor a plan to try to sharpen some of these neurological skills and help you recover. Okay? So they do their own little tests, and they'll periodically test you to see how your progress is, if that's something you're interested in. It can help with those symptoms, even if they're not very, they're not very, detrimental perhaps to daily life. You can work around them, but still that sharpness is a little dulled, and it does get a little frustrating in conversations and the like, certainly. So I'm going to refer you. I have a particular center that I like to send people to, because there's somebody who has done some really great work there with the patients that I've sent over. So I'm going to keep this because this is something that I would like to monitor with you. We want to make sure this doesn't get any worse, and we would ideally like to see improvement in the future. And I think with this speech therapy, that can absolutely be something that you can work with. Okay? Did you have any other questions for me? Okay, so in terms of your next appointment, let's go ahead and do it just 6 months from now, just to give us enough time for you to improve with the speech therapist, but not so much time that we miss a big part of progress. front desk, and I'll see you in about 6 months, and we might see a little bit of progress. Okay? I'd like to thank you so much for coming in and finishing your cognitive workup here. I really hope that we are able to help sharpen things up a little bit. I personally know how frustrating it is to be impaired like that, so I'm with you there. I hope you have a well-lived day and a good rest of your night.